Hey guys, we are working on CKLA lesson 8 in this video. So let's see, the vignette starts on pages 112 and 113, but the vocabulary is on page 121. Okay, there's only 2 words and they're pretty easy ones. So the first word is dumb, which is not a word I like you to use, neither is what it means. So there's a word in this vignette. She describes someone as dumb. That means they are stupid, but no one's stupid. No one is dumb, okay? Not a nice word. The next phrase is straw brim. So it's like a straw hat, and the brim is like the bill of the hat. So straw hat, if I was to draw one, kind of looks like a top hat, but it's made out of straw and it's like wider. Okay, so it's made out of straw, so it's all like thatched, you know. Okay, has a band that casts shade on the face, so like your head would be down here, so it has a wide brim like that. Okay, so straw brim is a hat. And there's only those 2, so that's nice. And the vignette is just that. It's just those 3 short paragraphs, okay? So we're gonna get to it. It is vignette 5 called Those Who Don't. Okay, and it's a story, the chapter is about how other people see Esperanza's neighborhood. Okay, so it's not how she views it, it's how other people view her neighborhood. And remember, she doesn't like where she lives, okay? All right, sorry if you can hear my dogs breathing in the background. They wanted to be here for this lesson, I guess. All right, let's read. Remember, you can skip ahead as you read it to yourself. You can read it out loud or in your head, or you can just track along as I read it, okay? Those who don't know any better come into our neighborhood scared. They think we're dangerous. They think we will attack them with shiny knives. They are stupid people who are lost and got here by mistake. But we aren't afraid. We know the guy with the crooked eye is Davy, the baby's brother. And the tall one next to him in the straw brim, that's Rosa's Eddie V. And the big one that looks like a dumb grown man, he's Fat Boy. Although he's not fat anymore, nor a boy. All brown, all around. We are safe. But watch us drive into a neighborhood of another color, and our knees go shakety shake, and our car windows get rolled up tight, and our eyes look straight. Yeah, that's how it goes and goes. Okay, so it's really short, and it might be a little bit confusing, but this vignette is just talking about how when other people come into their neighborhood, they see people like the guys described in the second paragraph, and they get scared. They think that they're dangerous and that they're gonna harm them, okay? So people get lost and accidentally drive into their neighborhood and see these people and they misjudge them. So they think they're dangerous, mean, scary people. But she's saying, you know, oh no, that guy with the crooked eye, that's just Davy, the baby's brother. And the tall one in the straw hat is just Rosa's Eddie V. So Rosa's son, Eddie V. And the big one looks like a dumb grown man. His name, or his nickname at least, is Fat Boy. So she's just saying, like, those guys aren't scary. Like, they're just our neighbors. They just live in our neighborhood. There's nothing scary about them. So she thinks they're familiar. They're not threatening. They're just some of her neighbors. But other people, you know, at first glance might judge them differently. Okay? So, super short vignette. What we're going to do on the next page is a little chart about the characters, okay? So, it says read the vignette again in pairs. We're not doing the in pairs part because we're not at school. Fill in the table below to show who the characters mentioned in this vignette are and what we know about them. Okay, so there's only 3 people in this vignette. So what other people see. So this is how they are described, how the 3 men are described, and what Esperanza's community knows about that person more than just what they look like. Okay? So if you want to go through and do it by yourself, you definitely can. I'm going to go back, and it's all in the second paragraph. So it says, but we aren't afraid. We know the guy with the crooked eye is Davy, the baby's brother. Okay, so what people see is the guy with the crooked eye. That is how he is described. Crooked eye. Okay, so that's what other people see. But what does Esperanza's community know about him? Okay, it says the guy with the crooked eye is Davy, the baby's brother. That's what they know. He is Davy, the baby's brother. Okay. Does that make sense what we're doing? So there's two other people. So how are they described? And what does Esperanza's community actually know about them? So far there's a guy with a crooked eye, but we know he's just Davy, the baby's brother. Then there's a tall one next to him in a straw brim hat, and that's Rosa's Eddie V. So, tall one with straw brim. That was the hat. Straw brim hat. Okay, and they said that, oh, well, that guy is just Rosa's Eddie V, so that means Rosa's son or Rosa's husband, I don't know. Rosa's Eddie V. That's what we know. And the last guy. The big one that looks like a dumb grown man. Okay. Big one looks like a dumb grown man. Weird way to describe somebody. Okay, and then what do we actually know about him? What does Esperanza's community know about him? Big one that looks like a dumb grown man. He's Fat Boy. So that's his nickname, right? His real name is not Fat Boy. Although he's not fat anymore, nor a boy. Okay, so even though his nickname is Fat Boy, he's not fat and he's not a boy anymore. Like, he's a man now. He's not a kid anymore. So nickname is Fat Boy. Terrible nickname. Though he isn't fat, and now he is a man. Okay, so if you need to pause to catch up with any of that writing, you can pause now. And then we're moving on. So this vignette and this graph is really just to describe characters, okay? Because, you know, what people see at first glance may not be, you know, everything about them, obviously. They're just described very quickly, briefly. There's not a lot of details. You know, I don't know anything about this guy besides the fact that he has a crooked eye. Okay, I don't know anything about this guy except for he's tall and he has a straw hat. And this one is big and looks like a dumb grown man, whatever that means, okay? So that leads us into what you're going to be working on for a writing task. Okay, so it says, working individually, you will each create 3 characters just like the 3 men people see when they drive through Esperanza's neighborhood. But this time, it's Esperanza who sees those characters as she's driving through another neighborhood. Okay, so you're imagining 3 characters. Character 1, Character 2, and Character 3. So first you should imagine how those characters look to Esperanza. Fill in the table. Remember, the more details, the better. So for Character 1, okay, you're going to be filling out what that character, whatever that made up character looks like, and then what they are wearing to describe them. So you're describing them in as much detail as you can. And remember, this is your imagination. So it is whatever you want them to be. They have to be real, okay? No like unicorn people, no crazy Fortnite things, no Minecraft characters. Okay, we're talking about real people. This isn't fantasy writing. This is just like narrative writing. So we're making up characters, but they can't, you know, fly or have purple skin or something weird. Okay. So pretending that you're in your neighborhood with these three characters and Esperanza is just driving through like she's lost. What is she gonna see about those characters? Okay. But there are some questions on this side that will help you to figure out some details. So maybe you already have characters in mind, and that's great. You can start filling out the charts over here. But there's questions over here that are going to help you, okay? So this is what they look like questions, and this is what are they wearing questions. Okay, so to help you with more details, because, you know, if you just say it's a tall guy or it's a short woman, you know, I can't picture that. I don't know what those people really look like because you haven't told me enough details about them. So for what they look like, are the characters tall or short or a medium height? So in the middle. What color hair and eyes do they have? Are they men or women? How are they standing or sitting? Are they using objects, a book or a hammer or a chess set or something else? So you can imagine how they're sitting even or what they're doing. Where are they looking? Are they looking at Esperanza? Are they looking at one another? Are they looking somewhere else? And what are their facial expressions? So are they frowning? Are they smiling? Are they looking confused? Okay, so use these questions to help you imagining what your characters look like. Okay, and if you want, if it helps you, you can label each one, like think of a name for the character, or just say like man, woman, child, maybe, and then you can have a different description for each character. Okay, so that's for what they look like. And then as far as for what they are wearing, you have to describe the clothes and the outfits and stuff, because that kind of, you know, people judge based on what people wear, which is silly, but, you know, if they're wearing all black, maybe they're scary, scary people. If they're dirty, maybe they just came from a job where they work outside or something, okay? So are they wearing shoes? What kind of shoes? Are they dirty or clean? What color are they? So you can describe even their shoes, because that might tell a lot about a person. Are they wearing trousers, which means pants, or skirts or something else? Are their clothes new or old, cheap or expensive? How can you tell? Do they have hats on? If they do, what does that change about how their faces look? Because remember, the guy with the straw brim hat has the shadow like on his face, like you can't see his face very well because of the hat. How about jewelry? If they are wearing jewelry, is it big and flashy or small and less obvious? Okay, and it says, there's a little hint down here. Try to make your characters different from each other, but remember they're all in the same community. So most people in your neighborhood are probably pretty similar, you know, unless you live in a really diverse area and everybody looks totally different from each other. But, you know, maybe a lot of the people in your neighborhood look and dress kind of similarly, okay? A lot of people around here wear, you know, jeans or Carhartts or, what are the shoes? The brown leather shoes. Oh, I can't remember what they're called. They're just like the slip-on shoes. I don't remember what they're called. They're like for working outside. I have a pair. Romeos. Romeos, that's what they are. Maybe, you know, a lot of people around wear Romeos and I could describe them. Okay, sorry, Luna's being very loud. She wants to say hi. Hi, Luna. Luna only has one eye. She's a pirate. She lost her other eye to, what's his name? Sparrow, Jack Sparrow. Okay, Luna, you're distracting us from our learning. Go be cute somewhere else. Okay, back to it. Anyway, so try to make your characters different enough from one another that it doesn't sound like you're describing the same person every time, okay? Don't describe like the same man and what they look like. Tall man, tall man, tall man. That's boring, right? You want your characters to be a little different from each other. Okay, guys, you can't wrestle in here. Out, come on, this is school. Get out of here, honestly. Goodness. Okay, so character one, what do they look like? What are they wearing? Fill out those boxes for each character and try and come up with a couple different adjectives or descriptive details for each box, okay? Don't just write tall. No, come on. It's a big box. You can fit enough in there, okay? So try and answer all of these questions for what they look like. What they're wearing is a little less important. I mean, those are good details to have, but I should know from reading your descriptions whether it's a man or a woman, what color hair they have, if they're tall or short, and, you know, these are important details too, okay? So, fill this out, pause it until you're done, because the next activity has something to do with these characters you've made up. So you need to pause it now, finish this page, and then turn the page. If you're turning the page, I'm assuming that you did what I told you and you finished this, because you can't move on to this page on 118 and 119 until you're done. And this is the last thing in this lesson. So this part isn't going to make sense if you didn't do your last page, the other chart, okay? So we're going to change this a little bit. So we're going to take out some of this direction because that has to do with like reading your partner's descriptions. So unless you have a sibling in the 4th grade, and I know some of you do, so you can do that part, or you can just do this based on your own characters, because you're supposed to read your partner's descriptions of their characters, and then you guys make up names, jobs, and other facts about them. But instead, we're just going to do my characters and take out the partners thing, okay? So, first decide characters' names and what they do for a living. So that means what their job is. Then think of other facts about them that Esperanza wouldn't realize as she drives past them on the street. Write those into your table. So this is our table, our little chart about our characters. So your character 1, whoever this was, you get to make up a name for them. You get to make up a job for them, and any other facts about them you want to make up. Okay, maybe they won $1 million in the lottery. Maybe maybe it's a old woman and she has a giant family, like on Coco. Or maybe your character, their name is whatever. I don't care what you make their names, but come up with jobs for them. So you get to make up their jobs too. And the other facts, like, that's just fun details you want to be creative about. Anything imaginative, what can you think of? Okay, so based on your descriptions, however you described your 3 characters, what are their names and their jobs and any other fun details about them? Okay, so you have to do that first, and then you can move on to page 119. So whatever you make up here, finish that first, and then we're going to write about your characters. I'm curious to know. I wish I was in class with you guys. I would love to hear some of these details. I bet your people are kind of fun. I bet you've made up weird jobs for them, and I bet you thought of some very strange facts. If you have a hard time thinking of facts, maybe one of your characters can be like, they hold a world record for eating the most pizzas in a day. Or they own 20 cats. Or they love penguins. I don't know. Think of anything random. Okay, other facts. Okay, so once you have finished this table, if this table is done, then you can work on this writing activity on page 119. This is the last page of this lesson. So it says, when Esperanza drives past, the car windows are rolled up tight so she can't hear anything. Imagine a conversation among the 3 characters. Maybe they're talking about a movie they'd like to see. Maybe they're discussing what a nice person Esperanza looks like. Maybe they're discussing something completely different. Write the conversation below. When you have finished, show your partner your scenes and discuss why you made the choices you did. So we do not have to show your partner your scene. This is your scene, okay, like your vignette that you're writing. So you're not just like writing a story about your 3 characters. You're writing a conversation between all 3 characters. So your 3 characters are standing on the street next to each other and they're having a conversation. So you're writing all that dialogue right here. They could write it about, or they could be talking about a movie. They could talk about what Esperanza looks like and like how nice she looks as she drives by. They can talk about how work was that day, what they're planning on eating for dinner, penguins. They can talk about whatever you would like, okay? But you need to write the conversation down here. So don't forget, we have learned multiple times this year how to punctuate dialogue. So if I was going to start, and if I didn't, you know, name my characters or come up with jobs or anything like that, but let's just say I have a character named Marco, Sylvia, and Luna, because that's my dog's name, but this character's not a dog, okay? So those are my 3 characters. And maybe I'll have their conversation being about like a movie they would like to see, okay? So remember, you start your dialogue with quotation marks, and all the dialogue they say, everything they say goes inside the quotation marks. So maybe they say, hey guys, have you seen the new Star Wars movie? That's a question, so it needs a question mark, quotation marks to close out their dialogue. But I don't know who said that yet. I need my tag for the dialogue. So maybe I'll have Luna saying that. Asked Luna. Okay. And then I'll have my other characters respond. So Marco replies, and I have my tag in the front this time. So we know how to do that one too. You put a comma, and then you begin the quotation marks. Marco replies, no, I haven't seen it yet. And then close out my dialogue with quotation marks. Me either. Said, who's my other character? Sylvia. Said Sylvia. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go back and forth and continue their dialogue, their conversation. So we're just practicing, you know, your character development, how well you can describe and imagine some characters, and we are practicing punctuating dialogue. So if you want to pause this just to see the different ways that I did it, because at first I have dialogue in the front with my tag at the end, then I have tag in the front, and then dialogue, and again dialogue and tag. I ended both of mine when I have the dialogue in the front, so this line here and this one is dialogue in the front. I ended both of those with different punctuation. So there's a question mark right here and there's an exclamation point right here. If you have a statement that is just going to end in a period, remember you change that period to a comma. Okay, so maybe I'll continue and I'll say, I'll have Luna continue her, because she's the one who asked. Oh, it is so good. But I don't put a period right here. Put a comma, quotation marks. Said Luna, period. Okay, so I know we've practiced this a lot, but it might have been a while, and there's a lot of rules and remembering how to put the quotation marks, where you need a comma, where you don't. So if you need to pause this to remember some of those rules and remember how to do it, you can. But try and fill up this page with a conversation between your 3 made-up characters. And that's the end of that lesson. Hope you guys had a fun time making up characters, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.